Hello. We have gathered you all here for yet another meeting of the Should I Play This Game podcast. Graham?
Hello.
Hello. I don't know why I'm doing that voice. I had ideas. Ideas just flow around here, man. And they just go, poof, and then they come there. And then I say silly things sometimes, and then sometimes I say less silly things, and I don't know. And I get myself in trouble sometimes. How's tricks?
Yeah, not bad. Nothing much.
Yeah, alright, it's alright. 21st of fucking October. We're getting through this year.
We've probably only got maybe 4 episodes left, do you reckon? I'd say.
I'm guessing 4. Based on my incredibly, fantastically shitty math skills. I'm guessing 4. I'd wager we have... Oh. Yeah, 4.
I reckon we get 4. Yeah, I think the last one might be the 22nd of December, might be our very last one.
Ooh, I'll be on holidays then.
No doubt.
I think I'll have been on holidays for a week then. And have completely fucked my sleep schedule. Hooray! What else are holidays good for other than completely destroying your routines? Anyway, speaking of routines, let's go through the routine and talk about video games. There you go.
Well, I'll skip part the first one. It's always been there. It'll always be there. It'll be a constant. Not even worth talking about it. If you want to know where that's at, just go watch the Solar Factory stream.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. It's like, it's there. Okay, cool. It's there. Let's roll.
That was satisfactory for those listening on the audio, so that was satisfactory. I've been still playing it. I'm just about up to 1,700 hours in my save. I think I mentioned a while back, I switched over to the Steam version. No particular reason, just to get off Epic more than anything and just stick with what I normally have. And so far in that one, I've already cracked, gone 30, just under 40 hours shy in Steam already. So we're racking up the numbers.
I always find that I've got to have games in Steam so I can remember I've got them.
I think that's kind of, I'm a bit the same, but it's also, I think there's better visibility of people playing in Steam. There is of Epic to a degree, so that's the other reason why I sort of did it.
Yeah, I forget about games sometimes.
But I have played a few other bits and pieces. Apparently 2 demos from the current Next Fest, which they have multiples of years, and it really buggers up sometimes because you think, I'm just going to do this today. Shit, Next Fest is out and there's 6,000 freaking demos to look at. I've got to sort through them and find ones that are worth looking at. So I've only found.
And then I download like fucking 20 and play like 4, or I do like 8 different, or not 8, but at least 2 or 3 videos. I only looked at a couple of demos on Friday Night Fun and the Saturday Special. So if people want to know what they are, YouTube, look at that. But because I'm not going to talk about too many of them, but there's so many fucking demos.
Which is good.
Yeah.
That's really good. But I think
it's just you never get to any.
So the first one I played is a demo of the game called The Precinct. This is a game that I thought I'd seen earlier, but I had sort of maybe dropped off my radar a bit. Currently scheduled for sometime release this year, but no specific date just yet. This is made, when I started playing it, I thought this looks very familiar in a lot of things. Remember a game from about 4 or 5 years ago called American Fugitive?
Yep.
That I played? This is made with the same people.
And it's kind of Grand Theft Auto-y, but you're the cops.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So if you look at... so it's played top-down, original sort of Grand Theft Auto style, I guess. So it's played from this top-down... and you're playing almost like a joystick shooter in a way as well.
Yeah.
The demo is incredibly short. You'll knock it off in like 25 minutes. But it does give a bit of a sense of what that game is going to be like. Visually, it looks pretty damn good. I like it. I like it a lot. It's got a nice...
File not found.
File not found. Excellent.
The hell happened there?
Click on a button. So
Oh, right.
it's got a nice the nighttime scene, like it just looks really good.
There's some really nice lighting there.
Nice lighting. I'm pretty sure done in Unreal. I'm pretty sure it's done in Unreal.
Mm.
And it's just got some nice lighting, nice effects with rain and that kind of stuff and that kind of bits and pieces. But primarily you play as a sort of new cop in this precinct, which I think it's got a name. They didn't mention the name in the original thing in the demo I played, but I can't remember what it was. And you're the son of a previous cop who's a bit of a legend apparently in that particular precinct. So you're living up to his standards. And the three missions you're sort of opening up with in the demo are you're joined up with an old detective who's a bit not
He's a grizzled vet.
bit of grizzled vet as the sort of cliche goes, and you basically pulled into a bank heist, you shoot a couple of dudes, and you arrest somebody, and in a bit of a chase, you arrest somebody, take them back to the precinct, and actually gonna book them in, which is just a
Ooh.
all you're doing is pressing buttons, so not particularly exciting. Then the next thing you're doing, the next mission after that, which I think is like the next day, seeing that with the same guy, but now you're walking the street, so you're on foot, and you're ticketing cars for being parked in front of hydrants and being parked illegally and just stuff like that. And then you're arresting graffiti artists and taking them back to the precinct. And yeah, and the third one, you're flying a helicopter.
How much choice do you get in that shit?
Well, the
Like,
game none whatsoever. In far as I played so far, you've got to the in the second mission where you're doing the booking of the like giving people
yeah.
tickets for parking illegally. You've It's basically saying you've got to give them a ticket.
Oh.
You've got certain criteria but better example is the graffiti people. So you walk up
Mm.
to the graffiti people, the graffiti artists, and basically the game says, well, the game has a police handbook embedded into it. You go, okay, you must, if they comply with your instructions, you can let them off.
Okay.
But the minute they run away in any way, shape, or form, or react to whatever, it then turns into you now arrest them. So you've got
Mm.
a little bit of leniency, but I think most of them in what I played, I suspect that most of the reactions of all of the various people was preset. It was always going to react in a certain way, so you've got a bit of an idea of what all the various options were. Um, it's all voice acted, but there's no cutscenes per se, other than the opening one, which is the sort of intro scene,
Yeah.
which is all in engine. But the rest of the thing, like between missions, was like just static pictures of the fellow cops, and they become the bigger version. They speak, and then they go back, sort of shrink back. So it'd be interesting to see if they've got more, cutscenes in the game itself. But yeah, I think it looks really neat. It's going to be,
Mm.
I think it's going to be cliched as hell in what it does,
Oh, yeah.
but that's fair enough.
American Fugitive was cliche as fuck, wasn't it?
Um, I guess to a degree, but
Did you end up finishing that?
nah, nah.
Yeah.
But
I would have liked it if there's a bit more leeway in how you cop.
there may well be as the game progresses, but I
Mm.
think in the demo you're probably very
Yeah.
control what you do just to get a sense.
It's a very limited vertical slice of probably
Yeah.
what is a 15, 20-hour game. Because
But
even like RoboCop, when you were doing the parts where you could like ticket people and shit like that, you had the ability to apply your own judgment based
yeah,
on RoboCop's protocols,
yeah,
and that was great. But
yeah. I'm not
well,
sure this will have it, but I'm thinking it probably will to some degree.
that it'd be so much more interesting if you could.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to.
Mm.
I've added it to our upcoming games. That's as I said, hasn't got a date. They're
I think
saying
I've got this on my wish list as well.
they're saying November. Saying this year.
When you're
PlayStation.
driving the car, is there
Mm,
the ability to run over pedestrians either accidentally or deliberately or anything like that?
yeah, I didn't seem to stop me by doing it by mistake. I think the driving was a bit driving's not particularly good. It's really
Okay.
kind of twitchy. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
driving physics in a game like that is really tough because you want a little bit of looseness and a little bit of play,
yeah,
but you don't want too much.
I think that's probably what might be the issue with it.
Yeah.
But um, Yes, the game is out this year, all things being equal. But no date yet. But it does appear to be a 1.0. Like, I don't think it's going to come in to early access
Mm,
when it does come out. But yeah, it's very short demo, but a pretty neat little introduction to it, I think.
mm,
So yeah. The next one on my list, and my last one on my list, is a game that I think you and I may play. I'm not too sure, but
mm.
it's a game called Luma Island. Um, and this is a game I hadn't heard of either until um, saw it on Next Fest on the demos list.
Mm.
Um, this game is a co-op RPG, or can be co-op. I played a little bit of it solo, obviously.
Yeah,
But the one
I
thing,
al- I did as well this before recording.
yes, this game is the thing that drew me into it was the art style is just
I really
gorgeous.
like the look.
The last, it's just really really nice.
Mm,
It's got the usual sort of mechanics you would expect. You start off with a very basic little set of tools in terms of axes and stuff like that. You can upgrade them. You can get more of them.
mm,
Um, I found that I didn't play a lot of it. I sort of played enough to go, yeah, I think this is one I'll wait for, and I just put it aside.
mm.
Um, it does have co-op of some sort. I'm not too sure how that's going to work per se, but it's got it in there. Um, it seems to have some sort of story to it in terms of progressing and becoming like a profession.
Mm.
So you go to the town hall. One of the early things you do is you get told to go to the town hall and choose a profession at
Would
about
you pick?
cook. I think I chose. Yeah, cook.
Okay.
Um, so they had about half a dozen. I think maybe seven. I think it was seven, maybe
Yes.
six. Can't remember. And they were increasing difficulty. I'm not too sure exactly how they became increasingly difficult. I guess maybe the length of time to get to that high level, or I don't know. They didn't really explain that particularly well.
I think
Um,
the highest difficulty one was like explorer or something. It ended up involving like exploring. There's like a cave system just before the city limits that you could
yeah,
like go into, and that probably relies on that and like digging around and fucking with snakes and shit in the cave system. That's what makes it more difficult.
yeah. I just don't know how that can be more difficult than what I just don't
Yeah.
understand. That's what I mean.
You
So definitely,
instead of growing food, you're trying to kill snakes and then getting killed in the process.
yeah. But it was like 1 star to three
Mm.
for 3 skulls. I don't know how the scale of that becomes more difficult, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm sort of getting at.
I picked treasure hunter.
So yeah. So you basically do that. I found that when it got to go to the town hall, that had a little sort of a guiding little beam of light that told you where to
Mm.
go. But when it said to go, when I chose the cook as the profession, it said now go find the tavern to speak to the cook there. It gave me no indication where the fuck that was, and I had no idea.
Awesome. All right, I had the same thing. I had to
So
go find some captain dude on a boat.
yeah, so I just go find the tavern, and I went to this place. Oh, that looks like food. It's got a little symbol, but I couldn't interact with it at all. But then I realised that it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, so I thought, oh, I'll just wait here for a bit. And morning came around, or the next day came around, and obviously I could interact with it and do it. But it gave no indication of where I was really going.
Mm.
So, um, but yeah, it looks really kind of neat. Like the art style I said is really
I
really
think
neat.
the look is one of the more interesting things about it because it has a like in the screenshots that we've got on the video version, you can see it sort of has at least a polygonal look to it.
Yeah, yeah,
But on closer looking or closer analysis, it's like pixel art,
yeah. It's
but
sort of
pixel art polygonally,
yeah, yeah.
almost like
It's not.
voxely. You reckon?
No, it's not voxel because you haven't got the.
Yeah, no, not proper voxels. But
But
like, there's this like pixely sort of art style to it all, which is and like you said, the bar at the bottom. Most of what it is to play it is very sort of Stardew Valley to an extent.
yeah, I mean you've
Um,
got your pickaxe to take down the wood. You got a different one to take down stone. You've got a different one to do X. You got different
yeah.
ways to do different things. You're picking up
I don't know if
materials.
I like the bushes and stuff slowing you down as you're running around.
I guess it makes sense that they would to a degree, but
Oh, it makes sense. It's just like let me run. And there was a chest I couldn't get to.
yeah. So there seems to be chests with stuff with some sort of pickups in them. You're
Mm.
making things like sawmills to to make planks out of wood. You've
Yep.
got some sort of farming mechanic, which is when I chose cook, that was my sort of path that was going to take me down to start farming ingredients for my cooking. So I think it's just, I mean, I think it has the possibility of being a game you and I might play a series of.
I think this could be a nice little continuation of picking rocks, digging holes.
Yeah, I think so. And it might just be hopefully with, again, it's coming to early access. They have actually got a date for this, so they have got it as being the 20th of November.
Yeah.
Which is not that far away, about a month away. And it is coming into early access when it does come out.
The RGDB information suggests full release, which, looking at obviously the Steam store page, makes it very clear it's early access.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Maybe no, it doesn't actually.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, really? I could have swore I saw early access on that fucking store page. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I thought I did too.
That has happened before.
Yeah, it's not saying it now though. If it was.
Oh no, yeah, there's nothing on the page about early access. Maybe it is a full release.
I thought I saw that saying early access. Maybe something else I was looking at.
Yeah, me too. When
obviously,
you told me about it on Saturday night, I'm like, oh yeah, early access, eh? Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm sure they said early access when I looked at it, but it doesn't say now.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let me just read the article here.
I like the little mushroom with eyes. That's cool.
Interesting. Anyway,
unless they were planning early access, now they don't need to.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm sure that.
Or we're both wrong, and we're both on angel dust.
Probably, because I'm pretty sure I saw something that said this was early access. I'm sure it did. Anyway,
I'll back you on that, because when you told me about it last night, I looked it up on my phone while I was eating dinner, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I'm sure that was early access when I looked at that the other day. So, which is literally like last night. So we're looking less than 12 hours away.
Yes.
12 hours ago. I'm pretty sure that was early access, but anyway, maybe it isn't. Anyway, so, yeah, it's. I'm liking it. I think it has got a potential.
It has the potential to be really neat.
Yeah. It'll just be depending on how much of it.
How it follows up on what's in it. Yeah. I only played like less than 20 minutes.
Oh, I'm the same. I just played enough to go.
Yeah, you played about 10 minutes more than I did.
I think this is something. I think it's going to be something we'll look at. But yeah, I think it has the potential to be quite good, but it also could be a complete grind. And if it doesn't appear to be early access, as I'm pretty sure it was last night when I looked at it, maybe there's going to be more content out of the gate. Versus what we thought of hit that wall with, like, your Frontier. And that's kind of where we said, like, that's the comparison we made with it when I messaged you last night. Like, this could be the feeling going until that comes back with more content. But but yeah, that's all I have played is those three games.
Well, a lot of it's satisfactory, but what more can you say about satisfactory that hasn't already been said about satisfactory?
Yep, indeed.
Satisfactory.
Okay, I'm just reading an article.
Anyway.
Okay, cool. Over to you.
Wonderful. All right. Like I said, the one demo I really want to quickly touch on, Billionaire, which is a sort of like Blatro has set off a stream of gambling roguelikes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a roulette one called Bingle Bingle, which, number one, great name. And it's in early access, so I grabbed that. And Billionaire is pachinko, but it's a roguelike.
Okay.
And you can put obstacles in the way so you can sort of set your own little pachinko pathway up. It's really cool. I very nearly could have played that for the entire stream last night on Saturday night. It was great. So, Cat Quest 3, finished.
Cool.
Didn't have a great deal left after we did the last podcast. I literally maybe had less than an hour of actual story content.
Mm-hmm.
And then I proceeded to play for another like 2 hours-ish because I literally had one achievement left and it was to find this fucking mushroom. And did you... Yeah, the item is a drop in the Infinite Tower.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did get it, I think.
Yeah, so there's two ways it can drop by chance, Or it when they patched it and it drops from a guaranteed drop, sorry, from a boss that's 37 kilometers down.
I did
The
obviously get
reason I
it.
say boss in air quotes is because it's squeaky.
Yep, yep. I did
Um,
get obviously did get it because I got all the achievements in the game, so I must have got it. Yeah.
yeah, I ground away at that for 2+ hours, and I was just missing out and just getting a little bit overwhelmed a little bit. So I just reworked my build a little bit, went back in. Yep, done. That thing's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's an awesome game.
And like what it actually sets up, I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, it has the potential to be a good, you know, Cat Quest 4
Like
or
the
whatever.
way in which it is nothing, like plays nothing into 1 and 2 is great. The little hooks that it has into 1 and 2 are even better.
Yeah, yeah.
And how it seemingly what might, fingers crossed, be the next one. Woo! We have ourselves a quadrilogy. And there's just a metric fuck ton of cat related puns in this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. This I might have for this particular game, which is called Closer the Distance.
Doesn't quite.
Might be something where I have the most to say about it relative to the amount of time I played it. So you play as Connie, well, at least opening wise, you do anyway. You're she's also called Loom by her family, Loom, like the tool, because she makes a lot of art and items using wool and other fabrics. Seemingly, her sister Angie dies in some sort of accident. But Connie can hear her talking to her and talk back, because of course she can. It's got a fucking fantastic low poly sort of art style that's used really, really well, and it's like fully voice acted, and the voice acting is great. It has the makings of a really strong story that explores grief really well, but the way it actually plays out was super confusing for the start period. Now, you using the controller, you move a cursor around to guide her. You're not direct controlling Connie, you're guiding a cursor around the screen, so it's like a point and click game. And most of the mechanics seem to boil down to focus on inter-character interactions. It was really slow.
Okay.
Not in a plotting way, but it's establishing setting. It's establishing what the game is and all that sort of stuff. It's set in a very, very small town, the sort of town where everyone knows everyone. And it's got that real sort of adventure game vibe, which wants to tell a really impactful story. It's tagged with Life Sim as well on the Steam page. So, yeah, it's my understanding of what The Sims is kind of here. Like, you don't get to do the building and stuff, but there are times where you can like change after a little bit. After about 10-15 minutes, it opens up so you can like use the bumpers to look at different characters, not control them, but see what they're doing and what their interactions are. So it's kind of Sims-like, but it doesn't have the whimsy of a Sims game because they're trying to be really quite serious. I think there's some additional, at least for what I played, which was not a lot, some context was needed because, yeah, I don't know, that like this seems like something that might have been better served as maybe a television or streaming series rather than a game, because the actual act of playing it I was sort of put off by. And I was also put off by some of the reactions or some of the dialogue. There's a dude, so the morning after the family finds out Angie's passed away, the town comes together and the town doctor announces it to everyone because obviously the family's stricken with grief and all this sort of stuff. And then this random dude who just fucking goes off is really upset for some reason, and he just runs off. He's like, I can't deal with this, and runs away. You go and talk to him, and you say to him, hey, I can still hear her.
So who are you controlling?
From what I can tell, Connie. But I think it opens up to allow you to control other characters.
You take on. It says here you take on the role of Angela.
Angie is the sister who passed away. Or maybe she's like guiding Connie, perhaps. Like,
Okay.
I played it for less than half an hour because I just could not get into what it wanted. But like, when you say to this dude, "Hey, I can hear my sister still," he gets up and goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Hang on a second, bro. You don't get like the character is this character's sister, and you're fucking turning around and being that much of an asshole. Who the fuck even are you? Why the fuck are you having this reaction? Go fuck yourself." And there was an interaction with the mom after the cops came that I really sort of didn't vibe with what I was. Yeah. It was very narratively deliberate and dense, and very sort of obviously emotional, impactful. I'm not up for that right now. And also, I never got the appeal of The Sims. So that Sims-like element I don't think is going to work for me. But I think it seems to be incredibly worthwhile narratively, conceptually, and what it's trying to achieve from a messaging perspective. But the act of playing it, nope. That it not really something I want to engage in. But god damn it, if the story was delivered in another form or another way, I think it could be really, really impactful. But yeah, I think it's like if people have that interest in The Sims or in like a slower adventure, quote unquote, adventure game like that, it might work a little bit better for them because unfortunately it didn't quite work for me. But yeah, that came out early August on PC, PlayStation 5, and Series X. A game we have done a checkout of. I had to think about that for a second. Economics. What a great name. And what a great little game. I finished it. So, for those who haven't seen the checkout, number one, go and watch the checkout because it's pretty good. It opens with a little gnome named Benjamin wandering along, and he's really upset that he finds a book out in the open and it could get wet. Apparently, the biggest thing that like really bums out a gnome is a wet book.
Who knew?
Yeah, I know, right? A chicken seems to be guarding the book. So Benjamin and the chicken have a fight. Benjamin loses his eye, but he takes the chicken's head and puts it on his walking stick. Okay. And basically the whole concept is you're building up this little settlement while trying to pilfer as much resources as you can from the different cave systems, searching for this mythical treasure. And you're trying to get deeper and deeper, get more and more resources. You use some of those, like some resources to create other resources that you can use on further digs and stuff like that. So it's a really neat twist on the builder sort of resource management game or genre. I really enjoyed that part of it. There were a couple of spots that I thought were like, that I was like hitting my head against a little bit going, how the fucking, and then I figured it out and it all worked out for me. It is super sad. Remember how like it was a bit of a push-pull trying to get through some of those early caves? Yeah, when you get to like sort of endgame, because I needed to go back into the early caves to just find easy ways of getting claws, which was one of the resources. You fucking smashed that early cave. To the point where I had like 500 food and like 300 materials. And just absolutely roll it. It's great. I got about 13 hours out of it. And it ends with a neat little story hook where fuck Benjamin. And he deserves it. That capitalist pig. Because like anytime a little gnome dies when you're digging, because like the key art shows Benjamin sitting on this little, what would you call that? Like a little cart?
Yeah, it's like a you know how you have wells, they drop wells in little buckets, like that kind of a thing, but a bit bigger than that. So obviously it'll allow him to sit in it, but that's kind of the thing.
So your main resources when you're going down into the cave are materials, which you use to get gnomes, purchase upgrades, things like that, or food. Because at the end of every turn, a ever-growing number of bats need to be fed. And if they're not fed, they attack you. And that's bad.
Mm.
So you can see in the key art for those people on the YouTube, you can see a little stack of meat for the bats, Benjamin kicking it, and then a whole bunch of different gnomes. I only really used like 4 or 5 different types of gnomes. And like there's at least twice to 3 times that you can unlock in the tech tree as you get further and further. I just found the combination super effective. But when a gnome dies, he's just like, oh well, that's the cost of progress.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
I'm like, you asshole. Particularly when I had a gnome that had 4 or 5 or 6 upgrades on, and then they die. It's like, no, I don't. And then he's just like, oh well. I'm like, you motherfucker, Benjamin. But yeah, I really think this game's very, very good. And the builder parts, you should see. Like, remember how with SteamWorld Build, where anytime we do a checkout where you're showing a building game, and I talk about like, we need symmetry. Yeah, my settlement around the holes that go down in these caves are not very symmetrical.
No,
they're a fucking clusterfuck of bullshit everywhere.
Very hard to do that with the design of.
Oh yeah, it was.
Space you had
I had to do some real fucking around to try and get pipes to get water in places and things like that, and I made it work though. So I'm surprised that actually, because normally like trying to work pipes and roads and shit like that, it's like nope, my head's not working on this one. Anyway. Diplomacy is not an option. Came out in 1.0 a couple of weeks ago. And I gave it a run, I don't know, after work, I think, one day. One thing I can tell you, because you're building, like, you get different instruments or different, I guess, scenarios. The peasantry has risen against the king.
Yes, they should.
And he decides he's just going to stomp it out with force. Because of course he does. He's a prick. So as you're progressing, like each individual scenario is like wave-based, sort of horde mode-ish.
Okay.
And you're building up defenses, building up soldiers to be able to deal with those hordes. Now, the other part of it is as you explore around the map, there's different parts where there's other peasant forces, I guess. Weirdly enough, killing all of them doesn't stop the waves, which I would have thought would happen, but it doesn't. You eventually have to build a grave digger and a cemetery, because if the dead bodies are left lingering, then they can infect and make other people sick.
Okay.
One thing not to do, don't destroy a cemetery with dead bodies in it. Because there were some times where I either needed resources or that cemetery seemingly wasn't being used. So I destroyed it, and then I was getting attacked like, I don't know, 30 seconds to 2 minutes later. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, zombies. So they fucking come back and start. And like one time I had a wave destroy a cemetery, and then the zombies started attacking too. And I'm like, you motherfuckers. So it's a like really cool sort of, again, another low polygon art style. Real-time strategy meshed with horde mode. You get the ability to build your settlement, get resources and things like that. One thing I didn't quite understand is that when you put a fishing hut on a lake, you're doing so on a part of the lake where there's fish, but the fishing hut doesn't go the entire lake.
Okay.
You have to go to the individual sections, which I was really confused by for a little bit. It's pretty fucking hard. And it's relatively long, too. I saw someone on the discussion forums talking about like 90 hours and still having plenty to go because they just get rolled. Building houses doesn't make settlers appear. I think it does. You can correct me because you're the Anno person out of the two of us. Settlers rock up each day, and you need to have houses to put them in.
Sounds a bit like Anno and those sort of games. Yeah. Like as long as you've got the housing for them, they will just automatically fill it in essentially. But when you then, I don't know how if there's a currency in this game, but in the Anno series, the taxes you make, you don't just tax at 7%, like you do in a Sims, like a SimCity.
Yeah, there isn't that deep level of economic
in
management.
In those games. You just, if you supply them the needs that they want, they will just pay you more money for being more, met by their needs.
Happy.
Rather than a percentage, rather than a base percent per person sort of thing. So, yeah.
So, like economics, where you build a house, you get a new worker.
Yeah.
Automatic.
Yeah.
Here, the workers rock up each day, and if you don't have a house, you don't have those workers.
Yeah. Yep.
So, there is a little bit where, in order to make sure you have enough people to run a fishing hut, run the barracks, and all that sort of stuff, you need to have the houses for the people to rock up every day. I don't know how much or how long I'll stick with this, despite relatively enjoying it, because it's very much the same. So in some regards, the same problem I have with a lot of real-time strategy games. I like them conceptually, and I like playing them early on, but eventually the strategies, and I'll put air quotes on that for people on the podcast, they don't work. My strategies just involve either trying to real quick build up the tech tree and then fucking running into economic issues, or making a bunch of dudes, the strategy shits the bed, and then I'm dead. Like the Stormgate fucking checkout. So it's super cool. I think people who really dig the more like the real-time strategy genre will get way more out of this than someone like me. I enjoy it conceptually. I wish I was better at them. There's at some point I would really like to try playing through StarCraft's campaign or StarCraft 2's campaign. I finished the World of Warcraft 3 campaign, I will say that, but that's not as pure RTS as something like this, because you've got the different hero missions and things like that as well coming up. This doesn't have those hero units and all that sort of biz, but I enjoy it. I don't know if I'll go back to it, but yeah, it's cool. Speaking of cool, now, apparently this came out 4 years ago on phones. Okay. This being Slash Quest. It came out a couple weeks ago on Steam. I had no idea that it was out on phones and stuff until I looked it up to put it on for the podcast today. I'm like, well, that's weird. But like thinking about it doesn't surprise me, because in retrospect, the UI and all the ways in which you interact with it, it's very phone game. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So you are this little guy on the key art. His name, he is Shepherd, because he's a shepherd of sheep. So they really busted themselves on the thought process there. Speaking of creative names, you come across Swordy, the sword, who is a not personified. He is a sword who has come to life. He was magically attached to the queen. The queen's gone missing after some wild people attack, and you need to find the queen. You do so by Shep or Shepherd. Swordy calls him Shep because he's not very creative. You move with the A button. It basically controls like a driving game.
Okay.
So left and right moves like swings the sword or swings Shep around. And if you stay in a circle, you just like hold right, he'll just swing in a complete circle. It's great. But yeah, you hold A to run and he just runs these swords into people. It's cool. It's really quite interesting and really quite creative. It's like a little sort of action adventure game, kind of Zelda-y. It's got a really neat little art style. It's meant to be relatively short, but because I like to try and wring what I can out of it, there's a bunch of challenge levels as well. To the point where I literally spent, 2 hours on Saturday morning catching up on all the challenge levels that I hadn't done that I didn't realize were there. But yeah, there's a bunch of different, like you see some of the enemies on the key art there's like birds that have stilt legs types, and you just cut the legs down, the bird goes on the ground, and then you cut them. So it's quite clever, and it's quite cool for what it is. I'm digging it. It's a nice little after work game that I'll play for between half an hour and an hour or so. Get 2 main story levels done, and then do the challenge levels, and then move on. Or start getting dinner together. So it's pretty great. We have talked in the past, and we talked about on the last podcast, about the concept of when to stop playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm making some progress on that tip because I played about 7 hours of Cryptmaster, which I played the demo of, and it was really interesting. It's like a dungeon crawler, but it's largely typing based. You move with the arrow keys, and almost all of your interactions are typing words in.
Okay.
That includes like picking items up out of a chest. Like the Cryptmaster, who's this weird dude here in the key art. When you open a chest, he'll look inside it because you can control 4 dead people: a bard, a wizard, a rogue, and a warrior. And you type words in to make their attacks and their different things come out.
Okay. Yep.
When you open the chest, the Cryptmaster looks into it and gives a brief description. And then you can run through the sense things like look, touch, feel, taste,
Yep.
smell, and you have to guess what it is.
Oh, from the responses.
Yep.
Okay.
And based on the number of letters.
Okay.
And that also includes like parts where, in order to progress, he's trying to get you to go up to the surface. You're working your way through different levels of the underworld, and based on progression, all that sort of stuff, you're working your way up. There's a logic in sort of a mathematical nature you kind of need, or thought processing you need to be able to work the puzzles out. Otherwise, you're just going to hit roadblocks like I did. Well, the nature of the logic in the descriptions wasn't quite working for me because my brain, I guess, is more about, for lack of a better term, free-flowing typing or writing, not trying to figure out I suck at riddles.
Okay. Yep.
So put it like that. If I suck at riddles, I suck at this game. And like some of the way, like I'm at a part, I got stuck at a part where I had to find 4 quote unquote gods. And in order to find them, I had to solve riddles to be able to get teleported to where they live. Or to the realms where they live.
Yep.
And some of it made no fucking sense at all. And like, I could have looked it up, but I'm like, that sort of robs it of its whole appeal. So after about 7 hours, I'm like, I can't, my head no work like this. me no smart ball in my head. So I just stopped. But I think if you are really quite good or enjoy riddles and crossword puzzles, you will probably get a fair bit out of Cryptmaster. I can generally work most I don't know. I've never sit and done crossword puzzles for ages. But crossword puzzle clues tend to be a little simpler. These are very much riddle style. And like, you find sometimes skulls off the beaten path where it literally gives you a riddle. Like, if you say this, then I disappear.
Okay.
And the answer is silence.
Okay.
Because if you say the word silence, there is no longer silence.
Okay.
Yeah. It's that level of, like, riddle, I guess, for lack of a better term. And, yeah, I can't... For as much as I look at words and stuff on daily basis, me no smart balls for riddles. But it is such a cool idea. I just wish I was smarter. But anyway. Thronefall. A really neat high contrast graphical style. And it's a semi attempt at a tower defense.
Okay.
You're a little dude who rides around on a horse. You can just see him there. And as you ride around, you can attack the hordes that come out. And you can ride to different spots on the map around your town hall and things like that to build defenses or houses, fields to get currency and things like that. So it's a real neat little take on the tower defense genre, which there's been a few of those. Like Hexguard, I really got into.
Yeah.
And this one is one I could really see myself getting into as well. I love the art style of it, that high contrast style, the minimalist style, and it is super satisfying when you get everything set up in the early game of a stage. get fuckloads of currency and just set up all these big choke points with all these massive towers just raining arrows on people, on enemies as they try coming through and hitting your house. But the first actual mission, I think, took me 4 or 5 goes.
Okay.
Because it was just, oh shit, I didn't think of this. And oh no, they got through and killed my house or killed my town hall. It's cool. I wouldn't mind doing a check out of this at some point. Yeah, much like Hex Guardian, a cool tower defense game that takes the tower defense form and makes it not boring and not interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Because that genre has been run into the dirt by so many different mobile games and things like that. This takes a pretty cool approach to it. I like it. Vladik Brutal. What would happen if one Russian guy made a hyper-violent Soviet Half-Life 2 and threw some fear on top? Like Fear, the first-person shooter. F.E.A.R. That's what Vladik Brutal is. There's a few contractors seemingly on it, but it's largely a one-person developed game. The combat's fucking brutal, man. Like, particularly with the shotguns are super effective. And when you're up on a dude and you pull the trigger on a shotgun, it fucking just sprays blood everywhere, and there's blood dripping off your gun and all sorts of shit. There are a few parts that I was getting real kind of frustrated and annoyed at, but I managed to work my way through them. It's not the best writing, and I think part of that is it's primarily written in Russian, and then the English translation doesn't quite really capture what the actual dude was going for. I think it would have benefited from being maybe an hour or two shorter. But I accidentally played it in one sitting.
Okay. Yep.
Because it was the sort of game, like, it was just good, solid murder fun. But as I was playing, I'm like, if I stop playing this, I'm never going to finish this. I'm never going to play it again. So I'm like, fuck it, run through it. Like I said, the combat was enjoyable. But and for one person, that's the part that's really, really impressive, because it looks really quite good. And obviously there's some contractors and stuff like that. Speaking of weird development teams, there was a game I stumbled on that I played on the Saturday show called Pete's Apocalypse, apparently developed by 18 year twos.
Oh, okay.
And it's like just this weird little neat 3D platformer where you're a dude delivering a pizza. And like, it's a single stage, it's free to play. And it's like, if this is year twos doing this, that's pretty fucking impressive, because I was nowhere near smart enough to do any sort of programming when I was in year 2. Anyway. Something that possibly could have been designed by a year 2. Nah, that's a bit harsh. Holio. Now, I mentioned this to you last weekend.
Okay, I think now I've seen the cover art. I think I know what you're going to reference it to. Yep.
Donut County.
Donut County. Yep.
You are a hole. And you move the hole around the environment, and you eat stuff, get bigger, and can eat bigger stuff. The other thing I didn't realize from the trailer, or one thing I didn't realize from the trailer, is it's fake multiplayer or fake competitive.
Okay.
In that it spawns a bunch of other players in that are varying sizes, and if you get eaten by one of those players, that's it, game over.
Oh, okay.
I had a few runs where I literally got eaten within the first 10 seconds, and that's it. It's like, what the fuck? But like, you can get it to a point where you're massive, and you're eating a volcano, and shit like that.
So with Donut County, the idea was you're helping the raccoon do stuff from memory. Is that right? Yeah, raccoon or something. What's the goal in, like, obviously you're swallowing whole buildings in here. Is the idea just to swallow stuff, or is it?
Yep.
Or is
there is no narrative conceit or explanation whatsoever fucking ever.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You're a hole, get bigger, eat shit. I don't know.
Okay.
I will say it is a mobile phone game. Like, the highest resolution was 1080. So I couldn't even build that up. The main mode, that fake competitive, there's a bunch of fake player names and shit like that. It's in a 2-minute span. Like, you get 2 minutes and it's like, go.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And obviously, there's you get XP out of that, which you can use to buy different holes and different levels. And there's like 3 DLC packs for it, all that sort of stuff. That wore thin real quick. So I put a total of about a couple hours into this because I was like, this is so low stakes and just so cozy isn't the right word, but it's just that thing where you literally just one hand moving this hole around. And there's a satisfaction of getting bigger, like Maniac, kind of like Maniac, just nowhere near as entertaining. Where Maniac's whole conceit was get stronger, get more weapons, get better, like steal tanks and blow shit up. This is eat shit, get bigger, eat more shit.
Yeah.
There's an endless mode.
Oh, that sounds good.
And holy fuck, the endless mode.
Sounds like the game's endless mode, so what's the difference?
So the game is only, the main mode is 2 minutes and that's it, scored. The endless mode drops you onto this really sterile sort of gridded environment. And then it's like, here's some shit that you can eat. And you get a certain number of points. Okay, you're up to the next level. Here's some bigger shit you can eat. And then at the end, once you hit that score threshold, you can then use the currency it gives you to buy upgrades, like get bigger, move faster, get more value for shit you eat, things like that. The only problem is, it's those score thresholds seemingly are exponential.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm using that term right. Each one's doubled.
Oh.
So, okay, the first score might be, 20. The second one might be 40. Okay, that's not too bad. I was getting it to 800,000. And the previous one was 400,000. So the thing, it's still doing the same, you're still getting the same number of points, but it's taking twice as long. Is that exponential?
No, exponential, it goes up at a faster rate than just doubling. That's just that's
okay.
Linear. You're talking about a linear up. Exponential would sort of have a higher bell curve. Would go up.
Me no good at maths. But yeah, so and then the upgrades are priced in such a way that fuck me, is it slow? It got to a point where it was 10, 15 minutes of just really rather slowly moving this kind of biggish mouth around to get these things, and it's just like, oh fuck, stick me with an ice pick. Jesus Christ. If someone took Donut County, tried to make a duplicate in a lab that was sterilized as fuck with no personality, welcome to Holio. It's Donut County without the personality and the great writing. And someone trying to figure out, hey, look, Donut County, there's a hole. You move it around and stuff falls in. Let's do that. No, let's not do that. Moving on. I can't remember if I talked about playing the demo of this, Shogun Showdown. But I grabbed it a couple weeks after I played the demo. It's this really neat Japanese-themed, for lack of a better term, roguelike, in that... Oh, why am I... Fuck. I went to click screenshots, but I clicked in the VMix tab rather than the actual... Oh, what a dumb head. So, you are this guy. You get different characters you can unlock as you progress. You can move up and down this gridded space, and you can select attacks. Each move is a turn.
Okay.
So when you move forward, the enemy moves, or it'll tell you what the enemy's going to do.
Okay.
So in this screenshot, the enemy's going to move forward. You can, with at least the Wanderer, who's the first character you unlock, if you move, if he was turned around and against this ninja guy here, and you move through him, it'll swap places.
Okay. Yep.
So it's about managing the space, and then when they're going to attack, you can move in, set their attack off, or it'll indicate when it's going to attack, then move out.
Okay.
So it's really neat, and you get, as you progress, you get more and more. You find sort of like pedestals, I guess, where you get more and more attacks. You can upgrade them because each form of attack takes a certain number of moves to cool down and be used again. So in this screenshot, the 2 knives or the 2 swords, which means he can hit for 2 damage on either side of him within one space, that is recharged in 3 moves.
Okay.
Whereas the arrow is 5 moves.
Mm.
And then the 4 little bolts here, that's how often you can swap with people. So you have to do a certain number of moves. You can't just perpetually do that.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can get different shops where there's upgrades and things like that. Whoop. Huh.
Go back.
That did the same thing to me.
Click on the next button. Link. Click on the next.
There we go. That's weird. So this is the starting screen, and you get skulls for beating bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Now the skulls can be used to upgrade the shops in each run, or you can use them here at the start to unlock the potential for these sort of attacks or these different moves and stuff like that to be found in a run.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite run based, but like most of my runs have been 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes at most.
Okay.
Because I'm not getting massively far. But it is really cool. Like I was playing it, I'd gotten myself set up for this by about 12 my time. And then I booted this up and played a couple of runs while I was waiting for you to be, here's the VMix link. So it's like just really neat. But you can also lose a metric fuck ton of time playing it.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah. It's a neat it's a neat little premise to sort of do the turn-based strategy in 2D, which isn't new. Like that's been done before with like Darkest Dungeon and stuff like that. But yeah. It's interesting.
And like you run into different like this dude here has 5 hit points. I unlocked a big fuck off spiked bat and upgraded it so it was doing 5 damage. So I just like slide up in this guy and then blat. Yep, you're dead. It's really this. What would you alter? Yeah. So this is early on. So between each of these skulls, the skulls it's wave based. So there's 5 waves. You kill them and you move on. Between the first and second one, it's normally the ability to pick a new attack. Oh, I haven't got kunai yet. That's cool. And between the second and the third, at least, is an altar where you can upgrade. So it can add 1 point of damage, but it takes 1 more move cooldown.
Okay. Yep.
And the little notches above the weapon icons here are how many upgrades it can have.
Okay. Yep.
So you can get altar upgrades to give you more upgrade spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the map. But at least, oh man, I haven't got this bottom part unlocked yet. What the fuck? I've got the furthest I've gotten is about the end of this second island, and that one I screwed myself a little bit, annoyingly. But it's really, really cool, and this is just a shop. But it's super cool, and I played the entire thing sitting back, one hand behind my head, just lean back, because moving forward is scrolling up on the mouse wheel. Moving back is scrolling down on the mouse wheel. You click it to turn around, and then right mouse button sets off, like you can stack your attacks, and then right mouse button sets it all off.
Okay. Yep.
So it's like entirely one-handed, which is pretty great. Speaking of pretty great, I fucking finally started it. SteamWorld Heist 2. You were asking me before we recorded, like, how many games you got? I'm like, about 10 to 11. Depends on what I played before we start recording. And I really need to start SteamWorld Heist 2. Typically, when I start newer games, I'll play them for about an hour or so at a time until I really get into it. It took some doing to stop playing this. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. Which I knew it would be. But man, you've talked a bunch about SteamWorld Heist 2 already. So I don't need to really retread much ground. One thing I will say is Leeway kind of a dick.
Oh, yes, I haven't played it for a while. Who's Leeway again?
The main dude with one arm. This guy in the middle.
I don't think so.
He came across as a bit of a, sort of an asshole dipshit, at least early on. I think mainly because, after the tutorial, you got the 2 different characters here fighting your way through, and he just pops out at the end and goes, hey, thanks for distracting them all. Let's go. Yeah. I was like, you fucking prick.
No, I wouldn't. No.
Does he actually... Oh, you've played it for a few hours. Does he get a second arm? Or is he just the captain of the submarine and that's it?
He's really just the captain. He doesn't really go on that many missions, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes on any of them, actually, now I think about it.
I stumbled into this fucking incredible sniper rifle. I really like snipers in games like this. Like XCOM likes and in the first heist, this is basically 2D XCOM for those who don't know.
Yeah.
I really like snipers in games like this because of how much fucking damage they do. The unfortunate part is you have to sometimes reload, but you can just stay basically in cover, reload, shoot, done. I got like a railgun. Like a lightning railgun that blows up and does like proximity damage to him. Like, this is fucking cool. And you talked about the job system when you played it, and like you have to have certain weapons to be able to get to be a certain job. Which, yeah, I'm digging it. Sorry?
It is really good. Like, it is a really good game.
I picked up a third member of my crew who's basically just a dude with one wheel. Kind of like the RoboCop equivalent on DuckTales. I've forgotten his name. He rolls around on one wheel though. I really like the look of it. The overworld traversals it's a little slow. That's the only thing I'll say about the traversal part in the overworld. It is a little slow, but the exploration still is really quite interesting, or there's worth to and point to it. I did accidentally run into a couple of missile silos that shot at me.
Yeah, you'll get that. Yep.
I'm like, oh no! But I got the machine guns, and just like wasting the Navy boats because fuck those guys. Those fascist assholes. Yeah, that thing's pretty good. I got some must listens. We'll talk about that soon. I got one other thing to talk about, and it's something I forgot I actually ordered. Is this thing. Which is this thing. It's a fake CDI controller.
Okay.
So when I talked about RZ, the something of the Jewel or something like that. It came out early. I think it came out earlier this year. Limited Run Games had a physical version of that game. And that came with a pink version of this controller. I just got the grey one. I can't tell you why I bought it. I don't know. It has all the assignments that an Xbox 360 or an Xbox controller would have, just without the stick. I just thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I'll buy that. And that was about 6 months ago when I bought it, and then it rocked up during the week. I'm like, oh wait, I forgot about this thing.
Yeah, why'd it take so long?
Because it was I don't know. I pre-ordered it, and it took 6 months for them to get them done up and shipped out. I've long since played through RZ, so there's no real point in playing a fake CDI game with a fake CDI controller. But it's weird. Like, it's got, you won't be able to see the labels because obviously it's very much blended in, but it's like A, X, Y, B's there. There's the D-pad or the stick, and then the left and right bumpers are here. And then you get the start, home. There's a minus button there too, which I think might be for the Switch. So yeah.
Okay.
Fake CDI controller that I bought for, I don't know, because I'm an idiot. I bought it 6 months ago and I completely forgot about it, and then it rocked up. I'm like, oh wait, this fucking thing. Maybe I should try it at some point on, I don't know. You could probably, I could say something else you could play what games you could play with that thing one-handed, but I think the joke writes itself, really. Particularly if you've seen a certain type of game on Steam. That's the games.
All right, cool.
Now, beginning the end yet or not quite?
Well, what do you want to do?
Well, there's that. So Xbox did a partner preview.
All right, so
Friday morning.
So change over to that, and then I'll flick you back.
Alrighty. Oh shit.
Yeah, so they did the Xbox
Far out.
partner event, I think was what they call it. Which is
Partner preview.
Partner preview, which is basically
Ready.
another stream of theirs.
So the first thing I did for Friday Night Fun this week was watch and talk over this because it happened Friday morning my time. That was the great thing about that TGS Xbox stream is that it happened at a reasonable time.
Yeah.
It was like 7 o'clock at night, not fucking like 4 a.m. So I forgot this was on, and then I saw one thing announced from it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay off the internet, and I'm gonna watch this for Friday Night Fun. And there's some cool shit that came out of this. Some of it was already known, like so Wu Chang Fallen Feathers was a Souls-like I already knew about. It was already on my wish list, but they showed more of that, and it looked really cool. Mouse has a subtitle now. Which Mouse, if you don't...
I was looking at that and like, wait a second, when did that change its name? About a month or two ago it changed its name.
This.
No, it changed.
This is when it changed its name, I think.
No, it changed. I was looking at Steam, it changed its name a while back.
Oh, okay. And Mouse has a bit more depth to it now. It just had the sort of Fleischer style first-person shooter, and that seemed like all it was, but there's a bit more detectiving and things like that to do with it, which I'm really interested in Mouse. Wheel world, open world, on a bike, but it's a racing bike, so I don't know if you can do flips and shit. But, that looks cool. The DLC for Alan Wake, which I'm really looking forward to. Seemingly you play as Janina Gavinka's character from Alan Wake 2.
Oh, okay, yep.
So it has different bits and pieces where it links into Control and the Control universe and all that sort of stuff. I love the name, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. The very small amount I know about the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series is from playing like 10 hours of Zero. So this is a side story in which one of the other characters from Zero rocks up in Hawaii and also doesn't remember how he got there.
Okay.
One of the biggest things that surprised me, Samoa Joe's in that game. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck? I thought he was written off TV by being put through a plasterboard wall. And I thought it was just so he could do Twisted Metal. But he turns out he's shown up in this too. Kronos is the new Bloober Team game, which looks really promising and could be really cool. Blindfire is a first-person shooter with no lights. And you're relying on shadow.
Okay, interesting.
It's out in early access on Steam now. It's like $13. A couple of negative reviews like, there's not much content. It's like, it's $13 in early access and it just came out. Shut the fuck up. Subnautica 2 got a date and confirmation of Xbox Game Pass.
Okay.
I was really impressed by what I saw of Mistfall Hunter right up until they said it was an extraction shooter, like PvPvE.
Okay,
I'm like, fuck that. The Legend of Babu is basically an action-adventure game or sort of open-worldy. You're a kid and you get to ride this big fucking dog. It's great. And it's not... I'm down the bottom of the thing, but it won't actually show it on here. But the Project Condor that Remedy was working on got a reveal. And it's called FBC Firebreak, a co-op... I don't know if it's Extraction, but it's a co-op, sort of three-person, kind of Destiny-like, set in the Control universe. But there's a bit of weirdness and a bit of whimsy going on there too. I'm really hoping there's some form of single player, or you can not maybe be punished for playing solo. I don't know if that's going to be it, or if you can just sort of matchmake in like you can with Destiny. It looks so fucking cool, but I got a feeling that it's going to be made like largely multiplayer only, so bummer. Yeah. But I was more impressed by this than the fucking State of Play. Well, and this was 25 minutes, and they just bang shit out. I mean, Phasmophobia is coming to Xbox, whatever, and Eden Zero was some dumb anime gacha game looking thing. But otherwise, a really strong showing. And if people haven't played it yet, Animal World's going to be on Xbox very shortly. So play that fucking game. It's fantastic. So that's it there. That's really the only news-ish item other than Spider-Man 2. When I sent you that fucking message on Saturday night, basically going, man, Spider-Man 2's coming to PC and they only announced it on fucking Facebook. What the fuck? And you're like, Comic-Con. Oh, right. I completely forgot Comic-Con was even on. And you're like, I'm like, oh, that makes way more sense now.
I was going to say, what? No, I think you've missed something there.
I definitely did miss something. That's so outside of Last of Us Part 1, that's their shortest turnaround on a PC port too.
Mm.
About 15 months this time, not the 20 plus that most of the other games have been. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's still the first 2 Spider-Man games I haven't touched yet on PC. Anyway. Shall we begin the end?
We should.
We should. Damn it. Anyway. So, must listens. Real quick. I've got 3. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So, Infinite Annihilator released a new EP during the week. It is a re-recording / reimagining of a demo EP they put out that wasn't even on Spotify or anything like that. Charmingly named Mr. Sister Fister. Reconception. But that hits hard. That's fucking fantastic. The Browning, which is kind of like an electronic deathcore band, have an EP called Soul Drift, which I'm actually enjoying that way. I listened to a couple of Browning songs a while ago and I'm like, this is fucking shit. But listening to this EP, I'm really digging. And Killing of a Sacred Deer have a debut self-titled EP, which is sort of a throwback to classic or MySpace era deathcore. Both all 3 very, very good. One very charmingly named. But yeah, must listens. Listen to them. They're very good.
Yo.
Are you going to listen to them, Graham?
No, hell no.
Oh, man, what a bummer. Anyway, they're fucking fantastic. Twitch.tv/Enemy Starship is where I stream stuff, mostly Fridays and Saturdays. Give us a follow there. You'll get an email. And then, I don't know, watch me play games and do dumb shit.
Cool.
There is Solar Factory coming up this week.
Yes, so I've got one to edit, so hopefully I'll go up Wednesday. Yep.
Wonderful. Economics checkout went up last week, and as did the Friday Night Fun and the Saturday special of Just Gone.
Mm-hmm.
And off the top of my head, there'll be Friday Night Fun and the Saturday special next weekend. As well as us looking at something.
Something to be determined.
Something.
TBD.
TBD. Oh, man, Jesus Christ, cross-country synergy. We both said TBD at the same time. Man, that's fucking fantastic. Anyway, you got anything else?
Nope, nothing.
Sweet. How about we end this thing?
We should do that.
I mean, end this episode, not this whole thing, not just poured gasoline on it and fucking set it on fire. But how about we end this week so I can play games, you can, I don't know, dinner stuff, dog stuff. Yep. And then we'll do this all again in 2 weeks' time. Keep an eye on the YouTube and podcast apps and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know. Bye.
Bye.
Laters.